Infinite had everything needed to become Sonic's next greatest villain. He had a terrifying design, reality warping powers, and one of the coolest Sonic themes in history. Yet somehow, years later, most fans only remember him as a guy lost to the power of friendship. So what exactly went wrong with Infinite the Jackal? Hey guys, DontDothatShi here, and today we're going to be talking about what Sega could have done differently with Infinite's character. If you guys do like these videos, make sure to like and subscribe. I always respond to everyone's comments, and just like that, let's get right into it. We see Infinite's character being introduced to us in Sonic Forces, released in 2017. Around this time, Sonic was in a big recession area, and now with the release of Sonic Forces, the trailers led us to a new villain, Infinite, and through the trailers he actually did look like an imposing villain that could have defeated the likes of Sonic, and that's what made its character so interesting from the trailer. But when we actually play the game, it doesn't feel the same as the trailer. The gameplay and the gameplay mechanics itself is really mid. It's like, it's not good, but it's not too bad. They're split into 3 different character types. You have Modern Sonic, Classic Sonic again for some reason, and your character, which you are able to do more platforming than being able to use the Wisp. That's the one thing I actually will give the game on. It did do that part good when it came to creating different characters. You could be anything you want to be. It's basically your own little OC. Now, cutting it back to the main villain of the game, the main villain is actually Infinite. So why didn't Infinite become a legendary villain? His design itself was already something that we haven't seen with many of the mainline Sonic villains, something covered by a mask and doesn't have any witty jokes or comebacks to Sonic, and just cuts it to the point. And one new element that none of the other Sonic villains have been able to do yet is the Phantom Ruby. Now, what makes the Phantom Ruby so insanely sick, and till this day I'll give Sega props to this, it's its reality warping abilities. Infinite is basically just a Uchiha if you really think about it. He can just put everyone in a global genjutsu. Anything that is put in his reality actually harms the person. So in theory, if Infinite really wanted to come up to you, throw 6 knives in his reality and they all hit you, you're dead. And that's what made him such an enticing villain in the trailers. We were able to see these abilities in the trailer and not know the full extent of Infinite's powers. And what made Infinite such a compelling villain is one of the first villains to just cut to the chase and eliminate Sonic. We see in the first fight with Infinite and Sonic, Infinite absolutely beats the bullshit off of Sonic to the point where he's now imprisoned to his death sentence, which actually makes this game go into more of a darker territory. But the thing with this game is they don't keep it in a dark territory. Sonic is in prison and he's literally about to die, but they somehow switch up the flow and make it more happier and more family friendly, which I'm not the biggest fan of. If you want to go in one direction, take that direction. I feel like Sega was playing it too safe with this game, with just adding Classic Sonic in just for fun. Bringing it back to Infinite, what makes his character such a potential villain is the fact that he didn't really get that much screen time. Most of the screen time was to the Phantom enemies. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't want to fight Phantom, Metal Sonic, Zavok, and Shadow for the 50th time. If this was the game for Infinite, we should keep it to Infinite. And what made his abilities so interesting is to the extent that he could use those abilities. We learn later on at the end of the game, Infinite uses his Phantom Ruby to simulate the sun touching the earth. Which other character have you seen in the Sega mainline time being able to do something like that and be that much of a threat that you literally have to create a rebellion against the Eggman army? And that's what I like so much about Infinite. Infinite is a cool character in theory, but in practical he's not as good. Infinite doesn't even have that much of a backstory. It's kind of weak, and not even in the sense of an ominous villain. It's just like there's nothing to do with him. And in my opinion, I feel like what would make the game, if there was some type of rivalry, instead of Sonic and Infinite, it was between Sonic and your main character. I feel like if they made a rivalry difference between 2 of the same people that went in different paths to meet again, as Infinite could have been one of the members in the rebellion but did something different and became one of the main villains. I feel like if they had more of a rivalry together as Sonic and Infinite, it would become way more of a compelling story and actually would have had some relevance in adding our OC into the game. But I feel like this game, they played it way too safe, and because they played it too safe, Infinite's character wasn't truly able to be explored. We haven't seen him in another game since 2017, really. So he hasn't even been mentioned because he's basically been defeated. We've seen that Phantom Ruby being used in other games like Sonic Mania to link them 2 games together, but the lore becomes really weird and wishy-washy. I'm not doing that. The thing about Infinite is, because he has such cool abilities and attitude towards being a villain, people want him to return. Infinite isn't remembered because he's a great villain. He's remembered because of what he could have been. Alright guys, that's gonna be the end of today's video. If you guys do enjoy that type of video, make sure to like and subscribe. And just like that guys, I always read the comments below, and see you guys. DDS out.